everyone. So welcome you all to Tutorials Meghalaya's first MTech channel. So my dear friends, today in this video we are going to discuss social science for UP section or paper 2. So the very topic we have here is a case study. So I have already explained to you in pedagogy or child development and pedagogy CDP subject what is a case study. So if you have not watched that video, then kindly go and watch that video. I have explained to you in quite detailed information I have already given about what a case study is. So basically, if you generally ask somebody what a case study is, so case study is a type of study in which you study about a particular event or a person or a situation or an event in detail, right? Suppose if you want to do a case study on Taj Mahal, then you will study everything about Taj Mahal. If you want to do a case study about Ratan Tata, then you will study everything about Ratan Tata. Right? So it's like that, right? So let us see. A case study is a research method that involves an in-depth, remember this word, in-depth and detailed examination of a specific subject, event, person, group, or phenomenon. It's often used in various fields including psychology, business, medicine, and social sciences to gain deeper understanding of complex issues. So here are a few examples of case studies to illustrate how they are used. Now you see, you can do a case study on your children, on your students, on your parents, on your teachers, on your well-wishers, on uh, you know, on an event or on a place or on a group of people or an event or a situation or a monument. So anywhere, any topic you can pick up and you can do a case study on it, which means you are going to study that topic, that person, or that thing, or that monument in detail, right? You're going to gain a detailed insight of that particular subject. So business and marketing. So now you can also do a case study about business and marketing. So what is a business? How is marketing done? How is business done? How they are related? What are the you know relationship between the two? So these things you can do a case study on. This is just an example of a topic. All right. So here, business and marketing. Dove's Real Beauty campaign. Dove's marketing strategy, which focused on promoting real beauty and body positivity, has been the subject of several case studies. These studies analyze the campaign's impact on Dove's brand and sales, as well as its social and cultural implications. So now you see, this is just given one example about Dove's Real Beauty campaign. So this is basically taken as a case study by many businessmen or researchers or market experts. They study this particular marketing strategies, and they formulate their own marketing strategies and plans, right? So psychology and mental health, another example can be psychology and mental health. The case of Phineas Gage. Phineas Gage was a railroad worker who survived a traumatic brain injury in the mid 19th century. His case has been extensively studied in psychology and neuroscience to understand the relationship between brain damage and personality changes. Now you see, another example of case study is given about Phineas Gage. So he is a person who worked in railways who had a brain injury, right? So his case was is studied by the psychologist. Why? To understand what the relationship between the brain damage and the personality changes. So once the brain has damage or injured, then how his personality has changed. Medicine and healthcare. Patient case studies. In medical education, students often analyze patients' case studies to diagnose medical conditions. These cases can range from common ailments to rare diseases, helping students develop clinical reasoning skills. Now you see, you will see many a time when you go to hospital, when you are admitting somebody, then you will see the doctors, they want a case, they are doing a case study on that individual. They want to find out, you know, they want to find out what led to the disease, or what is the source of the disease, how it happened, when it happens, what did you eat, or what did you consume, or why and how and where it happened. So all those informations the doctor will try to gather, and that can be referred to as a case study. Now we have environmental science. So the Exxon Valdez oil spill. This case study explores the environmental and economic consequences of the 1989 Exxon Valdez oil spill in Alaska. researchers have examined the long-term effect on ecosystem and communities. So, many people they like to do a case study on this oil spill, Exxon Valdez oil spill, right? And what are its environmental implications, how it has affected the life forms on the ecosystem, how it has affected the communities, the plants, the animals, the environment. So all that can be studied in the form of case study education. Inclusive education case study. In the field of education, researchers might conduct a case study on a school that successfully implements inclusive education practices, providing insights into the benefits and challenges of inclusive classroom. Now you see, you have studied a whole unit about inclusive education in your child development pedagogy subject. Yes or no? If you have not watched, kindly go and watch those videos. There are, I think, 5, 6, 7, 8 videos on inclusive education, or maybe more. So you can watch those videos. So inclusive education means a type of education system. Some schools they follow inclusive education, which means the normal child and the physically handicapped or a physically challenged child, visually impaired child, hearing loss child, everybody studies under the same umbrella, which means they study in the same classroom, and the teaching learning materials or the teacher will adopt according to the needs of the learners, and learners will not adapt according to the need of the curriculum, because curriculum is for the learner and learners are not for the curriculum. So adjustment needs to be done in the curriculum, adjustment needs to be done in the teaching strategies, in the teaching aids, and not in the learners. All right, so that is the main theme of inclusive education. Inclusive education means equity for all, which means there should be no discrimination, no you know insult, or no domination by the by anybody towards the students who are specially able. All right, so utmost care is taken that nobody is feeling left behind and everybody is accepted. Now we have social science. The Stanford Prison Experiment. This is a well-known case study conducted by psychologist Philip Zimbardo, which explored the effects of situational factors on human behavior. The study involves simulating a prison environment and observing the behavior of participants. So this is also one of the special case where the psychologists they like to study this, where the behaviors of the participant are observed in the prison environment. Urban planning and development. The High Line in New York City. The transformation of an old elevated railways into urban park known as the High Line is often studied as a case of successful urban development and adaptive reuse of infrastructures. Now you see, High Line in New York City. So this is a transformation of an old elevated railway. So there was an old railway which was further, transformed into an urban park successfully. So the people they study what led to the success of that, and what were the redevelopment done, what were the steps, the strategies followed, and what were the adaptive reuse of infrastructures made. Now legal studies. Brown versus Board of Education. This landmark case in the U.S. Supreme Court led to the desegregation of public schools. Legal scholars often analyze this case to understand its historical and legal significance. Each of these case studies provide. All right. So Brown versus Board of Education. It was a landmark case in the United States Supreme Court, which in the United States Supreme Court, in the United States Supreme Court, in the United States Supreme Court, which led to the desegregation or detachment of public schools. Legal scholars often, what did they do? They often analyze this case. Why? So that they can understand its historical and legal importance. All right. Now, whatever the cases we have studied, so each of these case studies provide a detailed examination of a specific topic. All right, often involving extensive data collection, interviews, and analysis. So you can do a case study by following different methods, maybe by interview, maybe by data collection, maybe by analysis, maybe by evaluation. So they help researchers, students, and professionals gain insights into complex real-world situations, draw lessons from past experiences, and apply their findings to similar scenarios or to inform decision making in various fields. Now you see, these case studies, it helps the students, it helps the teachers, professors, researchers gain the information about that particular event subject and draw conclusions or draw lessons from these past experiences and apply them in their present area of study or research and come to a conclusion which is very very fruitful and very very something which can be easily accepted by the society, which will be for the benefit of the society, which will be for the benefit of the human in the living in the environment, right? So I think this is all in this video. So thank you everyone for staying connected with the Ashok Tutorials, Meghalaya's first MTech channel. Thank you.